You never know who they might let in the door. We found them in here. Figured we might as well put them to work. This is In the Building. Live from the Slackers Sports Bar Studios. Here's Rudy Jay and Mike Taylor. Take it away, boys.
Well, looky there. We're back home.
Damn. I almost took the wrong exit. It's been so long.
Good to
I
have
almost
you.
got off on the wrong exit.
You have to get reacquainted with the dog.
Actually, she missed me.
Oh.
She gave me the cuddles.
Oh,
she gave me
went
some
off through your
cuddles.
legs
Yeah,
and-
she gave me the cuddle
very
waddles.
Nice. Welcome home. Last week, someone gave me this, and I don't know if it's a good one or not, but I don't smoke, as you know. So there's that. Welcome home.
Oh, Ashton, that's a great one.
Good to have you.
Appreciate that.
Good to have you back in the room.
Remember who it was?
Yeah, my buddy Joe Granados, who's the co-owner of the Kindle Inn up in Bernie.
Oh, yeah.
Played golf with him last week.
Appreciate you, Joe. Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
Good
he,
smoke.
yeah. Yes, that's from Joe.
Thank
We have people in Bernie. I mean, we talked about this a few weeks ago.
Was he one of the ones that reached out to you and said, "Hey, not all of us"?
No,
Oh, okay.
but we have folks up there. So shout out to Bernie and everybody on the north side.
I ran into a trucker dude this morning. You Rudy? Like, yeah. Oh man, I listen to y'all every morning.
That's
Like,
awesome.
yeah, I'm headed to LG's. He's like, I won't follow you. I know he don't want anybody to know where he lives.
Now don't get
That's
us
what he said.
chewed out.
But the first thing, I was way on my side of town anyway,
yeah,
so it didn't matter.
No, that's funny. That's LG's reputation now. Even
I
Thunderdome
love it.
knows.
I love it.
They know. Don't kick that hornet's
Nothing
nest.
worse than your neighbor walking the dog. When your neighbor's walking the dog and you're like out front of your house and like, you Rudy? You almost want to lie.
Yeah.
Well, I know what you did with Puma's house, so everyone knows where he lives.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
Because
I
of
don't-
you.
Yeah, and I feel bad about that. I do. I just got, we get so loose with this show. It's so no curtain
Right.
that I just get way too comfortable and on occasion wind up opening up my mouth and saying something that I shouldn't say that's stupid.
It happens.
It happens. That's the fine line that we walk. I'm not defending it. I should know where the line is.
Right.
But when you walk the line like that, on occasion, you're going to stumble to the left side. So,
Walk the line.
Yeah, and I just
You think you're Johnny Cash?
it also a lot of that is a lot of that was my lack of knowledge about the east side. Because Puma lives on a street that is not very long.
Oh, gotcha.
And we referenced his car a lot. And he had a very unique car.
Yeah.
You put two and two together, keep talking about the street he lives on. Like, I could say, I live off Vance Jackson. That's not going to tell anybody anything.
No.
But Puma lived on a little street in the middle of the little neighborhood there. And everybody
wasn't
knew
his
what he
wife
drove.
pissed at you?
Oh, my God, yeah. Because they'd be sitting on the porch and people would drive by, Puma!
That sucks.
Shit.
That's
unfortunate.
LG
you don't
would be
need that.
hot.
And of course, he's also 6'4". His hair's to his back, and he, looks like a pirate from the 1800s.
Right.
And so I just didn't think about that. But we're so tucked away here. The only people that know where LG lives are his neighbors. We have been outed by a few people that live on the street.
The
but
taco guy knows.
Thank goodness that they're polite
What's
enough.
his name?
That here's the thing: if
Ruben.
y'all out where we live, LG's neighbors, I'm going to out where you live. So and I don't want to do that, but I got to protect my guy.
Right.
Yeah. How you doing, man?
I'm fantastic, man. It feels good to be back in here.
Good. Weather's shitty.
Shout out to
Hopefully-
Bernie.
Hopefully it'll clear out tomorrow.
Yeah. What up, Bernard? Shout out to Bernie. I love Bernie.
Did you go outside yesterday at all?
No.
Okay. I thought it was cool the way the temperature dropped and how dark it got. That was
Yeah.
neat. That was neat. I thought that was cool. See, I live in a condoplex full of apartments, so it was interesting when it got dark around 1:40, 1:35. All of the floodlights came on in the building. That was kind of cool. Like the hall light out front in the lobby where I live, all the lights popped on, the pool lights popped on. That was strange, and it was neat. So while we didn't get to see much of the eclipse, the temperature change and how dark it got was actually kind of cool. I thought that was neat. So took a big old rip of a bong just in case that was going to be it, and God was going to come back and take me. Had a good day.
Hey, man. Do it. Do you.
I'm just kidding.
But
I count on smoking today.
It was strange. So, I have a cleaning company, and one of the buildings, the one building that my wife and I do, no one went to work. It was an easy clean.
Oh.
Because literally, there were people at Fiesta, Texas. There was people in Kerrville.
Yeah.
I think most people just called in yesterday.
That's goofy. Well, probably nobody, but no one did anything.
No.
No one did anything.
Well, everybody, you could, we did the same, but it's just we have the ability to work remotely.
Yeah, right. So, anyway, I can tell y'all were less than impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't. I mean,
Meh.
yeah.
The only thing weird was all the assholes outside staring at the clouds in the sky. That's the only thing weird. It was no different than a dark storm cloud passing over.
Everybody was mad, so they were doing Taylors. They were yelling at clouds. That was the joke I saw going around. All of San Antonio is the old man yelling at clouds today.
Yeah.
Because we can get to see shit. How about a segue?
Let's do it.
Speaking of meh, how about that NCAA tournament? Worst tournament ever. Least interesting tournament
Ever? Even
Had
worse than last year?
Zero interest in it.
Last year was...
None. Last year was, last year or
Remember
this
last year we
okay?
had Florida
They're
Atlantic,
1 and
San
2.
Diego State. Yeah.
Men's college basketball is dead. And the only thing keeping it up is gambling. That's it.
For sure.
It don't matter. They could be out there cockfighting. They could be out there penis wrestling.
Jeez.
We're going to gamble on it.
Right.
And it's awful. Men's college basketball is broken. It is uninteresting. These are a bunch of little slap Ds out there. I don't know. Is there one guy that starts at UConn that could start for the Spurs, even with the current group of starters that we have? I would argue there's not one guy that starts for UConn that could start for the Spurs next season. Not one. Zach Edey, is he going to start in the NBA?
He might.
The fact that you say he might.
He could be Taco
Charlton?
Fall. No, Taco Fall.
Taco Fall.
He could be
Taco Charlton was a bust too.
He could be Taco
Taco
Fall.
Fall.
He could be Taco Fall.
Massive yawn. UConn beats Purdue last night by double digits, as we all knew they would, in the least interesting men's college basketball tournament of all time, unless it's last year, whereby this would be the second least interesting, which I'll give you either one. In the same year that women's basketball had one of their most entertaining tournaments of all time, and the timing of the men's college basketball ranks plummeting to who gives a shit. It's where heavyweight boxing got for 20 years.
Now the kid who
Helped the women big time.
won MOP last night, Tristan Newton, I'd take him over Keldon right now.
Are you sure?
Legit 6'6". He could be a nice little addition to what Devin brings. I'd take Tristan.
Keldon ain't a starter anymore.
That's true.
So my point stands.
Right.
Nobody on that team could start for the Spurs. Nobody.
Yeah, but
Nobody.
but he has the formula. Only 4 freshmen on that team.
UConn?
You see
Well,
what I'm
he's looking
saying?
to win
Like
championships.
the huge, I guess dynamic of 180 from what college basketball was, the one and done, to what UConn has built. It may be we may see a shift because they haven't really. No one's been close in 12 tournament games in the last 2 years. No one's been close. They've blown everybody out. So when you see a team go back to back, only 4 freshmen on the team, and they're winning every game by double digits, you have to adjust to what they're doing. If your goal is to win titles.
We had all 4 number 1 seeds here in San Antonio in 2008 or 9. We talked about that.
I remember that.
UCLA, Kansas, Memphis, and
North Carolina.
All 4 of those teams would run that UConn team off the floor by 30 points. Men's college basketball it's terrible. It's awful.
It is. It's
just how it went.
It's uninteresting. It's uninteresting for
There's
sure.
not any stars. We slurp stars. Americans are star thirsty. We want to follow, which is why we jumped on board with the women. Now that Caitlin Clark's gone, the women's ratings go back to where they normally are.
Even if you go back to Steph's run with Davidson, remember how engulfed we were with that?
Yeah.
When he was
He's a star.
he was Elite 8.
Kid's a
LeBron
future
showing
all-star.
up. Right.
Yeah. There ain't no stars.
Carmelo. You know what I mean? Like there's a few names where, Kimba.
Right.
There's those names where you're like, damn, I want to watch him play. I don't think we had that this year. I mean, unless you count Edie.
No. He's a big old stiff that might be Taco Fall from Canada. No. Zero interest. It's unfortunate, but that's
you know what?
what
And I forced myself to watch it. And
they didn't do anything wrong.
The first half was good, and then UConn did what they did in the second half. They played better defense, and they executed, and they're just better than everybody.
Yeah. They didn't men's college basketball. I don't know that it's done anything wrong. This is the natural progression of society, where the Euro player has taken over the NBA. They are way better coached because they start playing for elite coaches at 12, 13 years old, unlike kids in this country. We have the stupid player rule where you have to wait a year before you go to the league. So now kids went and played for that team in Atlanta that the NBA was supporting that I guess they're not going to support anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Guys are going. Some kids are going to Europe. Zach Edey was bitching the other day that he can't make any NIL money in this country because he's Canadian, which is insane. I wonder if Zach Edey would. He would probably, if he was sitting here, he would tell me I'm an idiot and I was wrong. But I bet you deep down, I wonder if Edey thinks, damn, I should have just played in Australia for a year. I should have just went overseas.
That's what LaMelo Ball did that.
Yeah,
he went and played
money
in Australia, made some money.
College basketball on the men's side.
But this is one thing, though.
sucks.
There's nothing like this. If you've been playing AAU ball, travel ball, your parents been driving you all over the country and flying you all over the country since you were 10, and then you get to the point where you make it to the NCAA tournament. There's something to that for them. Now, if it appeals to us at home is one thing, but that's one of the goals. If you're not LeBron, that's one of the goals is to play in the NCAA tournament. Nobody can ever take that from you. For them, that's a huge deal. Huge deal. For all those Purdue kids that we don't know, or those UConn kids we don't know, you're in the tournament, you go back to back, you're some junior, you fall into 2 titles. Mm-hmm. You wear your UConn gear till you're 30. Yeah, I was on the 22-23 team and the 23-24 team, went back to back. We were all, it's a thing for them.
The only thing that men's college basketball has to give it hope going into the future is that America stays just as enamored with gambling as it is, because it's the only it's the only thing holding
our brackets.
The only thing.
Yeah.
We gamble. This country gambles now more than ever, times 500. So as long as we're willing to gamble on just about anything,
right.
The tournament will stay popular and the advertising dollars will stay, but the product is shit. You just wonder if that pendulum will change at some point, because the ratings, the women probably are going to double the men. Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying the women are going to stay where they are because Caitlin Clark's leaving. The women will probably go back to normal next year. At some point, shitty product, whether you want to gamble on it or not. I can gamble on anything I want to. I don't have to wait for the NCAA tournament. I could have gambled on the NBA. I could have gambled on baseball. I could have gambled on anything other than
hockey,
that. At some point, that product is going to suck so bad, it's going to have a negative effect on CBS and TNT and TBS, and they're not going to put up with it.
Well,
anyway, not to be an asshole, it's awful basketball. Yeah. It's like watching 2 elite high school teams play.
Right. Well, only Jerry Jones can work his way into college basketball, and the Cowboy fan is pissed at him more because
you know how we do.
Come to find out, Jerry had a huge hand. Jerry wrote a nice size check to make this Calipari situation work, and Cowboy fans like, well, wait a minute. Derrick Henry tells the Pivot podcast he would have loved to have been a Cowboy, but they didn't even call him. You haven't re-signed CD. You haven't re-signed Dak. You haven't paid Micah, but yet you're paying the buyout to get John Calipari to be a Razorback.
Yep.
So Cowboy fans like, wait a minute. How are we more concerned with the Razorbacks than the Cowboys?
That's his pride and butter. He's a hog.
No, you're a Cowboy first.
Cowboys, that's business. Jerry, that's family. Arkansas, that's family. Jerry has had a hand in everything they've done athletically for 40 years.
Great point.
And will continue to have one. He uses the Cowboys as a play toy to get laid and make billions. Arkansas, that actually means something to him. He actually is trying to win for Arkansas. Cowboys, man, winning's fine.
So that's been the talk for the last 24, 48 hours. Cowboy fan find more reason to be mad at Jerry.
Yeah. My buddy Donnie on the north side's in here.
What'd he say?
You're right. I'm right there with you. With Caitlin Clark leaving, they should build a statue out front of the Iowa arena because they'll never have that kind of run again. Probably not. They should name the arena after her or the practice court or something.
Good Lord, already?
She's the Larry Bird of women's basketball. Although, do you see Dinah Taurasi calling her out?
No.
Wait till she gets to the WNBA. She's playing with girls. She's going to be playing with women next year.
First of all, why that voice?
She has a deep voice.
Well, Dinah Taurasi also said she doesn't understand America's fascination with young women athletes. Like, we love the gymnasts when they're young. We love remember we had the pitcher out of the Northeast, young African American.
That was 20 years ago.
Yeah, no, I'm saying even Taurasi, Breonna Stewart,
Yeah.
Caitlin, and she's still, and we've talked about this ad nauseum. She just doesn't understand.
Yes,
why,
she does.
Why it doesn't translate
Bullshit.
into pros when they're pros?
Taurasi knows. She knows the answer.
What's the answer? Why don't we care once they become pro athletes? For real, I'm serious.
Well, Taurasi's probably, you know what she's getting at. They were sexualizing young women. It's easier
Jesus,
to sexualize them when they're younger.
I'm not looking at Caitlin Clark and Paige Bucher like, ooh, I want them at all.
I'm not talking about
Angel
you and me. I'm
Reese,
talking about
no
she
one,
wants
none
the
of
answer
them.
to why society gets more hype for young women. Doesn't that make sense? Stands to reason. Younger women appeal to the masses more than a 50-year-old. I'm not going to watch Diana Taurasi. Not me, but society. That's my guess. I didn't see that she said that.
She said this a while back, but
I'm
it popped up.
assuming.
It popped
I mean, we know
up.
the
It popped
answer.
up today on my algorithm because there's so much Caitlin in my algorithm.
Well, maybe it
all-
changes. Maybe Caitlin will bring some. Maybe 57 people will watch the WNBA rather than the 37 that watched it this year with Caitlin Clark. You said it yourself. We get enamored with amateur basketball players too. The same thing. Look, this country jumped on. This country worshipped the 1980 U.S. men's hockey team.
We didn't give a shit about them if they
But
made
nobody
the NHL.
watched the NHL after that. You know, in 1980, you could name, if you were a sports fan and you were of age in 1980, you could probably name every kid on that roster because we got enamored and we wrapped our arms around them because of political reasons.
True.
And then 3 years later, no one knew that Micah Ruzioni was the captain of that team. Nobody knew that Neil Broughton was a defenseman on that team. They forgot all about it. And we'll do that with Caitlin Clark too when she gets to the WNBA, unless she takes the $5 million and goes to the big three. I don't make the rules. I just try to follow them. That's all I can do. I ain't trying to be an asshole. I'm telling you, I think one of the reasons why sports fans in this country, maybe we're more enamored with younger athletes than 40-year-old athletes. We
They're not 40,
sexualize
Mike.
women, Rudy. We do. A lot of female golfers over the years have tried to feminine it up for their brand to get endorsement money. I don't make the rules.
Well, this is the problem.
I'm telling you what they are.
No.
We sexualize young women. It's unfortunate
why-
most of the time.
Is that why the women are allowed to wear short skirts and short shorts, but the men have to wear pants?
In what sport?
Golf.
Oh, yeah.
Lady PGA
Probably.
Tour, they wear these little short skirts and little short
Yeah,
shorts.
but you
And
can't wear
Tour,
shorts.
A man, but
silly.
on the live tour you can.
Yeah.
PGA you got to wear pants.
Right, the PGA 's
But the women,
button
but the women get to have their nagas out,
They do if they want to.
and they most of the time don't. But
Right.
you get where I'm coming
No,
from.
guys. All right. I'll make one declaration, and then we can move on if you want to. If Dan Hurley
I'm listening.
takes the Kentucky job, I will do a show shirtless the entire show.
So then you don't think he is?
God, no. It's a better job. He has a better job already. You see, UConn's basketball budget's $27 million. Kentucky's was 15.
Yeah, because they
It's
don't
all
have to worry.
tradition.
Because they don't have to worry about football, baseball. It's just UConn basketball,
That's it.
and they have 6.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
Back
they
to
had
back.
6 titles.
Yeah, Calhoun won 4.
Ray Allen.
No, Calhoun won 3. Kevin Ollie won a natty at UConn as the coach. That program's so good, he ain't going down there. I think he genuinely loves being at Connecticut. Now, he may listen
You
to
really
he
think
may listen to
Connecticut's
the
a better?
NBA.
It may be a better
It
job
ain't
right
even
now.
close.
I don't know about that, Mike.
Kentucky soured their program by having Calipari stay as long as they let him stay there
So,
and fool them.
so
Calipari's a Pied Piper. He ain't trying to win no natty. He's trying to get famous off. He's trying to get famous off kids that go to the NBA.
So okay, Michigan's, and let's go football. Michigan's they just won the Natty. Mm-hmm. Don't mean it's a better job than Alabama, just because it is right now.
No, that's different. Kentucky's not as good a job as it used to be. It's getting by on reputation. It's damn near what Notre Dame is now in football. If Notre Dame shits
I like
the right
that
direction,
comparison.
they get put into a big bowl.
I like that comparison.
Bama's, well, and we'll just check on Bama here in a couple of years with this Yankee DeBoers they brought in.
Alabama!
See how that goes for them.
They'd have to, if they double his salary, he's gone.
Yeah. I want to get my punch in now.
I got a punch too, so you go
Let's
first.
do it. All right. Before we do that, though, the NFL, I'm going to pump this golf tournament. Speaking of golf, that NFL Alumni Super Bowl golf qualifier. Now, I wanted to get the barbecue out of the way before we start refocusing on this
Oh, and other
thing.
stuff, right? I got
You're still
you.
down to play, aren't you, on May
What?
6th?
You think I'm turning down
Okay.
TPC?
Have you played
day,
out
May
there
6th?
before?
Twice,
Okay.
both times for free.
I probably shouldn't play. It's a PGA course, dude.
But that's the beauty of it.
I'm gonna shoot
it's the beauty of
150.
it. First of all, the guy that got us in the tournament, he's going to carry us.
I hope so.
We just got to make a few putts.
All right. So the NFL Alumni Super Bowl of golf qualifier is coming down at the TPC of San Antonio, May the 6th.
Okay,
And the night before, every team drafts a former NFL player
right.
as their team captain. So it's 5 guys. It's your foursome plus the captain, your football player that you draft. And they've got tons of prizes, chance to advance to the Super Bowl of golf. It's all for charity, supporting national and local charities that the NFL Alumni Association supports. You get a 4. What was a 4 caddy again? A guy that kind of helps you along the course.
Yeah.
That's what I don't play. I'm not a distinguished golfer.
Good question.
It's a scramble format. So the way they do it, there's a VIP draft pick reception. All the teams on May the 5th, Cinco de Mayo, will get together on Sunday night at the TPC for a gala and draft all these football players. And then the next day, your guy that you draft will play with your foursome in the qualifier on Monday, May the 6th. Now, the NFL Alumni supports Caring for Kids, which is a national organization. They support the Ryan Seacrest Foundation, which is a national organization. But locally, the local chapter supports Eva's Heroes and Morgan's Inclusion Initiative. Mr. Morgan.
Now, I wonder how the draft works. When do we? Is there a lottery? How do we get?
I don't know. It's a good question.
You know what I mean?
It's a
Like,
good
how do we get to
question.
pick the NFL
It's a
player
charity.
that's
Don't
with
get
us?
all weird. You
I
sound like
know.
these barbecue teams. I want to know every single rule.
Oh.
It's for charity.
Oh,
you know?
do they get like that?
Oh, dude. I've had to hush several teams over the years. Guys, I need to complain. They'll come complain to me about things. Some of the complaints are valid. They don't have anything to do with the competition. But guys that get butthurt because their brisket was second, I'm like, guys, it's a church charity.
Mike, that's
Come
a lot
on,
of
come
work.
on, guys.
It's a lot
I
of
know,
work,
I
Mike.
know, and they give a lot. I know, I understand. So
But
anyhow,
the brisket was free.
the
fellas.
NFL Alumni's South Texas chapter, and yeah,
Okay.
we're giving you a free beat, is Johnny Walker, San Antonio home zone and the former UT great.
Shout out to Johnny.
Johnny's the one that Johnny and his buddy helped get us connected with this tournament. So shout out to Johnny. All right, that's it. All right, it's time for the punch of the day presented by the official law office of Orlando Kell. I'm going to punch DJLG today.
Damn, I punched him yesterday. What did DJLG do to us?
I don't have the Hal and Shannon El Gato drop machine right here. I got used to it, and now it's gone.
You mean you don't have the iPad?
Correct.
Yeah. The Shallon head and drop machine's right here next to me.
How come I don't have the iPad that's connected to it, that's in sync with it?
Because it's dead. It's
Oh.
charging. Yeah.
Oh, God, you freaked me out. We don't have the budget to buy a new one.
I thought it got died.
It's
No.
charging. Well, then punch you for not letting it charge.
Yeah. Well, it's because y'all weren't in studio all last week. And I just, it's been sitting there dead.
All I know is it ain't here. That's it.
It ain't there. But
ain't
guess
there.
what is there to your left?
What's that?
A new piece of technology.
Oh yeah, you got a cough
See how
button.
he's projecting. He's
I
redirecting.
like the cough button.
I got my cough button.
I need it more than you.
Y'all both have cough buttons now. One of
Yeah.
them
Hell
is
yeah.
thanks to Carl Schoening, and the other one is thanks to our own funds. We bought our first asset, a cough button.
Speaking of funds, these are the kinds of things we do with a lot of the tips we get.
Yeah,
Guys
we-
like Louis Flores a minute ago bought us 3 coffees. I appreciate that,
See,
Louis Flores.
we're not just throwing it in the sky,
Yeah.
at the Honey Strip Club in
Yeah.
Vegas
No.
or at the most ghetto strip club ever in Houston.
I'm literally feeding myself and buying cough buttons. So keep the tips coming. We love you hard.
And LG has the best coffee in the world.
He gets the good shit.
This Houston blend.
It's good. Coconut?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
see, I mean, I'm not a big coconut guy, but it's hidden by other notes to where the coconut's not overbearing.
Well, okay.
There you go.
It
I have a
does taste
refined
good.
palate.
Apparently so.
I guess we got to do coffees and cigars with Rudy J.
Does cigar smoke?
I haven't done the
Do
lounge
you
in a minute.
smoker boys? Do y'all get does it affect your palate with some foods like it does cigarette
sure.
smokers? Probably does.
I'm sure
That's why you like. That's why you like strong whiskey. Probably goes good with a cigar. You don't drink vodka.
It
kind of
cuts the whiskey, especially if you're talking about. Especially you're talking about like Rebel. That's like a $1.13 proof.
That makes sense.
It can kind of cut it.
Who you punching?
I want to punch the people that decided to look. My wife and my 5-year-old went outside yesterday. For 30 seconds. Cool. But if you went to Six Flags, went through the gate, went to the parking lot, got out of your car, opened the trunk, got chairs out, and walked into Six Flags for 4 seconds, or if you drove to Kerrville, or if you took off work and got an Airbnb, I got to punch you for that. I mean, you got the same view from your patio or from your job. You don't need to go to Six Flags. You don't need to drive to Kerrville. You don't need to get an Airbnb. You don't need to buy glasses. I had to punch those people. Like the world really stopped. I think they said like phone usage was down. Nobody was watching TV. Mm-hmm. Everybody was tapped into this. I don't know if she was mad, but like I was on the couch and my wife was like, "Are you coming outside?" I said, "No, I'm not going outside. I'm watching the 5 Heartbeats. I'm not going outside."
Some people came to Texas from like.
You see what I'm saying? I got to punch you for that. I got to punch you for that.
Some people traveled all the way to the hill country to watch a bunch of clouds.
I got to punch you for that.
Man.
I don't get that. Like, I guess I get it, but I don't.
Here's the reason I get that it was, let's say the sky was clear. Y'all are poo-pooing on the eclipse. I think it's really cool. I think it was really
cool
neat.
that it got dark real quick. I looked outside, it was dark. I was like, okay, cool. This is a very
rare celestial happening. And it reminds us all how small we are here on Earth. Earth the size of a grain of sand on the Sahara by comparison to the universe, right? So I think it's neat.
People came from Finland and Germany.
Sure.
Are you serious?
The only
really punch them.
I would not have done it is because, and I'm with you, because I ain't trying to get my ass whipped by humanity, which is why I didn't come to the studio yesterday, even without even going out of the city.
Right.
I like spontaneous goofball fun like that, but only if I know that's not going to be packed with people. You're right. Yeah, Jason makes a good point. Bill Nye, the science guy, standing there in Fredericksburg, pretending how awestruck he was. Bitch, you looking at clouds. There wasn't no view in
Keto Jar, give me a source. Keto Jar says the eclipse generated $6 billion spending in the U.S.
The travel, hotels, food.
I need your source.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying it didn't generate money, but I need the source for $6 billion.
For $6 billion? Yeah.
I need that source.
Yeah. I don't like to hang out with a lot of people. Like if Nina's like, "Hey, let's go up to Montana. I heard that there's this really cool hotel. It's haunted." And okay, cool. And we're the only ones there, or like it's like off season. It's a Monday or something. I might do that. But if I know there's 5,000 people going to this hotel on the same day, why would you put yourself through that? Thank you to El Harley for the $2 super chat. You got anybody to punch, LG?
No, I'm good today.
Okay. That's brought to you by the Law Office of Orlando Kell, the official family lawyer of this show. If you are unfortunately in the middle of a divorce or thinking about doing it, or you've been served, or even if you've already gotten divorced and perhaps you need to change the decree, because people with kids, oftentimes they move, they change jobs, things need to get flipped around. Orlando can handle that too. It is Orlando Kell, 210-775-4995. You can email Orlando directly at orlandokilllaw@gmail.com. All right. Another reminder before we get to our guest, we have a special edition of In the Building coming up on Saturday, April the 20th. They're having a massive crawfish boil out at Slackers, which is, by the way, the studio home of us. We will be doing a special ITB. Are we famous enough to just call it ITB? Everybody knows what we're talking about?
Be better.
Sounds like something that's wrong with your belly. Let's get a little more famous. Let's double our subscriptions, and we can start saying ITB. For now, it's In the Building. On 4/20, we'll be at the Medical Center location on Fredericksburg Road. Me and Rudy will be doing a live edition, a special edition on a Saturday to welcome in crawfish and 4/20 within the building. All right, right now, I'm looking forward to this guest. I've been looking forward to having him on all week. This is a guy called, did you know the name Rob Wicall, be honest, a week ago?
No.
But if I told you he was the Coyote for 16 years, oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
I know.
You feel like you know him, but we don't know anything about him because he was a character all these years. Rob has written a book. And let me get the book out.
Get the book out.
It's called Philosophy. Dad joke. I like it. And Rob's on with us now. What's up, Rob? What's up, man?
He's on mute.
Turn your volume up, man.
Muted, Rob.
What?
There you
There
go.
we go.
There
No,
you
I'm
go.
Now you're
you
good.
can cuss too. That right there is
I'm
the
pissed at
Coyote.
Rudy. He didn't know my name.
I did know your name, the Coyote.
Oh, I'm going to come down there. I'm going to ITB you, bro.
Yo.
I'm going to ITB you right in the gut. You
You
know what I mean?
spent your whole career trying to stay anonymous. It worked.
That is true.
That right there is the Coyote most of us grew up with. So what was your first year?
It's so
2000? What was your first year, Rob? 2000?
Well, I started doing appearances as Coyote Mike in 1996.
Oh, geez. Okay.
So I was,
not bad.
yeah, I was an appearance guy from 96 and 2000. I became a full-time guy
Okay.
to 2016.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, now, give us some background if you can. I know you didn't get there till 96. A Spur, but the mascot's a Coyote. How did that come about?
Yeah, because coyotes are they're indigenous, man. And who's going to want a spur as a mascot? You want fur. You want some fur, bro.
Okay. I'm going to ask you.
Chicks dig the fur.
You've been asked this a ton. How the hell do you become the Coyote?
You got to do.
That's such a rare gig.
Is it a PT
how'd you get
Yes.
the job?
Is it a PT test? What is it?
Yeah, it is being in the right place at the right time, man. Funny enough, I water skied at SeaWorld.
Wow.
Soon after, when SeaWorld opened in 88, I started there in 89. Graduated from high school, started skiing at SeaWorld and skied there, got my degree at UTSA, tried a real job, hated it, quit, and went back to water skiing, man. I was like, I can't sit at a desk, man. Yeah. So I'm just water skiing, great life, no money. And I'm like, what am I going to do with my life here? And a girl who was on the ski team was also a silver dancer. And the Spurs were putting together an interactive team, which at that point was like, at those days, there were no interactive teams. It was like a brand new thing. But she was like, hey, they're just looking for people who know how to tumble and are outgoing, throw t-shirts in the crowd. So I was like, oh, cool, I'll do that. So I auditioned, got on that team, met the guy who was the Coyote, and literally stood in front of the guy and we're like, we should be brothers. Like our stature's the same. We both are just like, can walk on our hands and ride unicycle and juggle and do all these weird skill sets that nobody else has. So he was like, hey, would you ever want to be Coyote? So I was like, yeah, man, I'm good, whatever. Does it pay money? I need money. And so yeah, I started doing appearances as Coyote. Yeah. So I started doing appearances almost immediately as Coyote. And once I started doing it, I was really like, this is what I was born to do. It is who I am. Like I was already that guy who was, fake tripping over stuff or whatever, right? Doing bits anyway. Now I'm just wearing a costume. I always say Coyote was just Rob at 150%. Just a little bit bigger than normal Rob. So I fell in love with being a mascot and never looked back.
Yeah, dude.
20 years later.
It's one thing, and Rob's like ridiculous athletic. He's going to be humble about it. Like you have to be insane athletic. It's one thing to be athletic, though. I know a lot of athletic dudes. To run around there and do the stuff you did, man, in that damn costume, because the eyes are in the mouth. You have no peripheral vision, and we want you to hook your back to a cord, and we want you to propel 300 feet from the top of the arena. Dude, how did you get used to that? Did it take a while?
That is just yes, but it's also just being an ornery, gritty dude who's super competitive. And you say I can't do it, guess what? Mm-hmm. I will. And so it's just that mental attitude I think I've had all my life as this competitive, ultra competitive human being that was like, I will figure this out, right? I'll get it done. And I remember soon after, man, and I'm sure I would guess you guys have had this maybe epiphany at some point in your careers that you just like stare at that mic and you're like, I can't believe this is happening. How did I get
Yes.
there? I remember looking at the pause one day going, how did this happen?
Yes. Oh, plenty of times. Plenty of times. Now, let me ask you this. Your favorite title to be a part of?
05.
Why 05?
Game
That's a
7.
random one.
Game 7, man.
Okay. Detroit.
There was nothing, Rudy, like that energy in that building, dude. And imagine I'm in the rafters and pregame, I'm going to rappel in and work that crowd. And back then I hate that they've given it up, but when they used to put the Larry O'Brien trophy and it was a big sticker center court, dude, and I'm center court looking over it from the rafters and come down and the crowd's going nuts. I mean, there's just nothing like that as far as an in-game experience. Who's had that?
Right. Now, when did you finally retire? When did you retire, Rob?
At the end of 2016.
Okay, so see, that's why I'm shocked you said 05, because I would have thought 14 because it was that drought, and then there was LeBron.
Yes, it was. And after 13,
after 13,
right?
You know
after that
so
13 loss, it was redemption.
Sure you were going to go 14.
It was an awesome one, but 05, I just always say
that makes
those
sense.
moments of we were in the middle of it, and by the way, I feel like we could have won 3 in a row. Like there were just those little moments that happened that we didn't win more. But yeah, games. I remember specifically. I can tell you where I was standing when third quarter ended in that game, and we're going into the fourth, and I've got something I had to do. And I just look at the scoreboard and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It's a tie game after 3 quarters. Like, it's coming down to this. Here we go. You know, like, all right, it's on my shoulders. Let's do this.
Dude.
Yeah.
Especially that, I bet you I know why. I mean, Rob's a humble dude from what I know about him.
Right.
You had a little bit to do with the win because if every single body in that room, you talk about that atmosphere that night, every single human in that room had a part to play. And your part was huge. If you have a bad bit or a skit goes haywire or you fall from 20 feet and break your ankle in front of everybody, you suck all the juice out of the room. There's pressure. There's pressure on you. There's pressure.
There is pressure, but, I appreciate it and love that pressure just like I'm sure you guys do, right? Like I flourish on that. Man, I appreciate that pressure, and I took it seriously, and thus was why I worked 80 hours a week preparing for every game because I always felt that pressure. You know what I mean? Yeah. I remember at one point in my career, this is a crazy story that I don't think I've ever told on public airways, but at one point, I'm never in the office. I'm always out doing stuff, right? And the Spurs are like, some people are sort of complaining. You're never here. And I was like, yeah. Why? What am I going to do here? Like, my job is out in the community. And they're like, well, could we maybe you start tracking your hours? I want to make sure you're working.
Wow.
So I was like, totally cool. I'm good with that. Because after about 2 weeks of tracking hours, and it's basically from sun up to sundown 7 days a week. Because Monday through Friday, people are in the office 9 to 5. So they're emailing me. I'm in meetings. So Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, I'm working. Well, guess what? Almost every evening, I'm practicing dancing with the girls. I'm at some appearance. I'm doing I'm prepping for my skits. On the weekends, on the weekends is appearances. It'd be 6 appearances on a Saturday. You know what I mean? So I'm working 7 days a week. So as soon as they saw that, after about 2 weeks, they were like, you don't have to do that anymore. We're good.
Yeah, because
it was like 80-hour weeks, bro.
We have to pay you some more, Rob.
So I was like, believe me, I'm not in that office, but work is getting done. And as you guys know, most of the work is behind the scenes, right? The time we're doing this is the easy, fun part of the job. It's that 90% behind the scenes that has to be done well. Just like you, Mike. We met. I gave you that copy of the book, and you're like, "I'm going to read it." And I was like, "Wow, I was impressed that you felt
done.
like you wanted to prepare appropriately and read it, man."
I read it yesterday.
and that's you had to put hours into preparing for this short little interview.
Hey, man.
But that's what makes you good.
I finished it this morning.
all
right here.
I woke up at 5:30 to finish the thing.
He's all right.
It's called
Wow.
Philosophy, Beyond the Mascot, Insights into Life in the NBA. That's what it looks like. I told Rob yesterday, has anyone ever told you that you kind of look like Ralph Fiennes, the actor? And you look more like him with half face here on the cover of the book. And he said, yes,
I do look like him. I have gotten that one.
Dude, tell us the story. You're in France and you lose the head of the Coyote. Tell us that story.
Yes. So here's how it goes, Rudy. You'll like this one, man.
Okay.
I fly all the way to France to do some work for the NBA, which was obviously a cool perk that almost every summer I was overseas somewhere performing as the Coyote for the NBA because it's a worldwide brand, right? So during the summer, they would have all these events all over the world. And I'm going to do something in France, which I went multiple times because of the whole Tony Parker connection. Mm-hmm. So I fly to Charles de Gaulle. And back then, I would carry the head in a plastic trash bag, like a black, hefty trash bag. But I wanted to carry it on, not check it in case they lost my luggage. I still got the head. I can make something work, right? So I would carry the head on. Well, I fly in, and the plane stops at the tarmac, and you have to get on a bus, and they take you back around to the front of the airport, and then you had to go back through security, and I had to get on another plane to go down to Lyon, France, is where I was performing. And so I missed my connection because of that whole go around security. But I was racing, trying to make it. So I sprint to the gate. I missed the flight. They're like, hey, we got you on another flight 4 hours from now. So I am like, cool. I go take a nap. I go eat breakfast. I walk around the airport. It's time to get back on that next flight to go to Lyon. And I realized literally as I'm about to get on the bus to go to the plane, I'm like, wait a second. Where's the Coyote head? Where's that black trash bag? And of course,
you pissed yourself.
Yes. I had never been as close to what I thought was a panic attack. Like I'm gonna have a heart attack. Like I can't breathe. I'm like, oh. The NBA's flown me all the way to freaking Paris, right? And what am I going to do? If I don't have a head, I can't perform. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I sprint back to the gate, talk to these two dudes who had rebooked my flight. They don't know English. And I'm speaking English so fast with two French words in there that there's no way anyone could understand. Right? And they're like, don't know. So then I see a cleaning lady. I run to her. There's no, okay, she doesn't know. Now I'm sprinting the airport, like where I slept, to the restaurant. All these places. Dude, I'm having a heart attack. Cannot figure it out. And then last thing I remember is, I had to go back through security. I'm going to retrace those steps. I run to security, but I don't go exit. I'm right in where the TSA thing is. Right. And I'm talking to this lady in broken, weird French, fast English that she has no idea what I'm saying. But what I say, the most fortunate thing, Rudy, is she's 5 feet nothing.
Right.
So I can see over her head, right? And I'm looking down at her and I'm talking. And there's a hallway, like an employee hallway. And all the way down at the end of the hallway, leaning against the wall, I see a black trash bag, dude. And I'm like, huh, and I just point. I don't even know what the word is. I'm just like,
basura, whatever, yeah.
Yes, that's Spanish, Rudy. See what I'm saying? You can't see that. That's what I'm saying. I know Spanish. I can speak Spanish. I don't know French. You say Spanish words. Sometimes I say Spanish words just with a French accent.
Right.
Yeah.
And basura, basura, basura. I don't know. So I'm pointing, and she turns around and starts to laugh so hard. And then she calls over her friends, and she's pointing the guy in the ear. So they bring the bag, and they make me pull it out. And I put the head on out in public, but I'm like, it doesn't matter
It don't
right
matter
now.
at
I
this
don't have
point.
time to argue with this weird, head on, and I'm dancing. See what I mean? When I take the iron, look at my bits. And they're finally like, okay, bye-bye. And I put the head in and sprint to the plane and run up the stairs and got on the plane.
I'm gonna tell you this, Rob.
And had to change my drawers, man.
Exhausting.
I don't know what I would think if the guy got on the plane, sat next to me with a black trash bag. I'd be like, where is this guy running from? Is he on the run? Like, who has a black trash
What's
bag?
happening?
Who packs like that?
Who packs like
what,
that?
what a psychopath this guy must be.
I'm like, yo, I probably call my wife
all
like,
sweaty.
babe, yeah, this dude got a black trash
It's
bag.
over.
I'm just
It's
calling
over.
him.
I'm all sweaty. Black trash bag. Yeah,
Dude.
man.
All right.
I know. Weird.
True confession.
Weird.
True confession. When I bought when you gave me the book, I thought it was just going to be a bunch of fun and yucks and good times and bad of being the Coyote. But what I quickly realized was this is and I want to ask you about your motivation on this. This book's kind of a teaching tool on how to interact with people, how to be a better person. It's almost like a self-help.
Because you got to
book.
do it without talking.
It's almost a self-help book. I mean, so like, how did being the Coyote all those years teach you all these tips that you give to the reader? Because you had, like I said, you were like you were probably the most famous silent person in this town.
For sure.
Yeah, actually. And I speak to it, as you know, in the book, that I say, I'm one of the most famous people in San Antonio, and nobody knows me. And I like
That's awesome.
right? I'm not like you guys. I can go out to dinner, nobody recognizes me. You know what I mean? Like that's a definite skill that you have to attain to be prepared for that lifestyle, right?
Sure.
And I get some, of course, and I don't mind it. I love it, of course. The other day I'm at the bank and some guy was like, Coyote. I turned around like, who would say that? Yeah, and the dude was like, I saw you on TV. Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing these interviews.
Congratulations
you
on the
outed
book.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was cool. We had a conversation. Huge Spurs fan. We took a photo, the whole thing.
Cool.
But it's weird now that it's me, right? I'm not in the suit getting a photo. It's just Rob. So it's really weird, man. But, being the Coyote, I came at it differently than anybody else that I had ever seen mascot, that I came at it with a very intentful, purposeful agenda as to how to create impact. Again, super competitive guy. I used to say when I was Coyote and I was taking over, I was like, I want people to talk about me the next day at the water cooler. Nobody says water cooler anymore, I don't think.
No, we still say it. We still say it. We're all of age.
You say,
we
okay.
still say
This
it.
is an old,
All right,
this is
cool.
an old
It's
man.
like saying,
You're good.
I say, sure. It's like saying Rolodex. A 20-year-old's like, I don't understand what that is. I have to say contacts. It's in my
Right.
contacts.
She's in my black book.
Damn.
Okay, I can't say that. That is old. So I say, I came at it very differently than anybody else I knew with this intent and this agenda because I wanted the next day people to talk about the Coyote as much as they talked about Tim Duncan's stats, right? I want people to say, did you see what the Coyote did last night? So I had to backtrack and say, well, how do I do that? Okay, I need to be impactful, and I have to have multiple impactful moments every night because it's a basketball game. It's not the Rob Wicall show. So there's going to be people who are up going to the bathroom and talking, and they're going to miss a bit. So I said, if I can do 3 hugely impactful things a night, whether it's planned or whether it's organic, I think that's enough that every person in that building will know the Coyote was there, and they can talk about him the next day. And that's really how I did my whole career. Every game, I looked at the game script and I was like, all right, where am I going to fit into this? Okay, here. I did a bit one time and it became like this huge thing. And I think the guy still does it some, but where there's the security guard that stands at the top of the free throw line there, right? Looking at the crowd.
Right.
And it was like, I needed a bit. I needed some impact. And I always knew the farther down you are, right, the more impact I'm going to have. The closer to the court or on the court, the more people are going to see the bit. So I go down low and that usher or that security guard's there. And I'm like, I still need an impact moment for the game tonight. So I thought, I'm going to dance with that dude. And what's funny about it is he can't do a thing about it.
Because he's got to keep watching the fans. Right.
He's got to keep watching the crowd. That's his job. So I just go up to him and start giving him a little shimmy, right? Twerked in front of him and just started organically doing something, right? People love it. And then the rest of the night, people were like, that was hilarious. You know, fans are saying to me, that was hilarious. Do that with that usher again. Do that with that usher, right? So now I just wait, do it again the next game, then I do it. And I just started making it a common bit. And I would up the ante where I would do different things, right? Now I'm thinking about it. And it became a whole thing.
It was a benchmark.
And it was all because I'm trying, one of my little standard bits, right? That I'm going to do. But it all came from me just saying, I need X amount of impactful moments that I want people. I'm so just impactful. What's the word I'm trying to think of? Man, I've forgotten. I'm having a brain fart.
It's
but really just, I want everybody to know me. I want everybody to know Coyote was there. Narcissistic?
Awesome. No.
Maybe
competitive.
sadly.
Competitive.
Nah.
Now, Rob, let me ask you this.
All right, I'll take it.
Give me one or two guys where you would watch them and be like, damn, I got to bring my A game tomorrow. That was pretty good. As far as other mascots.
Oh, other mascots?
Yeah,
Rudy?
other mascots. You'd be like, you know what? That was damn good. What am I going to do to top that? Because you're a competitive guy. So I know there has to be one or two that you would watch from afar like, okay, he's bringing it. Let me step it up.
There were a couple dudes I would say Rocky.
I knew you were going to say Rocky.
Denver. Mm-hmm. He's my boy, man. He's my boy. I love that dude. We would collaborate and talk a lot during my career and even after. I'll tell you one of the funnest things I've done in the mascot world since leaving the Spurs was when the Denver Nuggets went to the finals, because he's calling me like, dude, I've never been this far.
That's awesome.
Dude.
That's awesome.
And I was like, oh, you're in my wheelhouse now, brother. Let me give you some skits. So I'd be like, all right, here's something I used to do. And he'd be like, all right, I'm going to do this. And so I worked him, like, we talked skits through the finals, man.
That's awesome.
It was really cool.
You're a good dude for coming on, man. I appreciate it very much. So quickly, we don't have a lot of
Where
time.
can I get it? Yeah.
Why'd you write the book?
Yeah.
Why?
Great point.
What motivated you?
Because, first of all, I'm just not that public of a person in general. And so it was really tough. But I sort of felt like, I think there's something to be said here that can help people. And unfortunately, I feel obligated that if I can say something, like you said, it's a little bit of a self-help book. So if I can say something and it inspires somebody, even if it's one person, don't I have to?
Yes.
I love that.
That's how it came. That's how it came about, man.
NBA or Spurs give you any crap about it? Did you have to go through any red tape?
I went through the red tape, but of course, as much as just as an ode to them, I wanted them to know about it. I wanted them to read it ahead of time.
Awesome.
And they had a couple like, hey, maybe we could change. There were a couple changes in there, nothing crazy, which I was fine with. And then it went up the ladder to the NBA attorneys, but I'm fine with that. And then that because of that, they gave me the official blessing, which means I can do this kind of stuff with no problem, right?
Awesome.
They're not going to now listen in and listen to every word I say.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They
for
find
sure.
out you're on.
especially
Hi,
with
RC.
us.
How's it going?
Hey, how you
See
doing?
you at the arena.
How you
All
doing,
right.
Tom?
Yeah.
It's philosophy.
Yeah.
Beyond the
That's
mascot,
right.
insights into life in the NBA. Dude, good luck with this and everything else that comes your way. You're
Thank
a
you,
special
gentlemen.
kind of guy.
Thank you, Rob.
And I hope that this isn't the
Well-
last time that you try and give back to something, because you damn sure have a voice in this city, man, for sure. All right, so
Well, I
looking at-
appreciate it. And of
You're
course,
welcome.
I love it.
All
I
right,
love this city.
other than
man,
Rob
so
meeting
thank
you at a coffee shop to give it to you like he gave it to me,
Right.
how do I buy this bad boy?
Amazon.com. And then it's for sale at the Twig Bookshop in the
cool.
Pearl as well. And I'll be there May 15th doing a reading and signing as well. But
And
it's for
we'll
sale
pump
at Twig.
that. We'll closer to the 15th, Rob.
sure.
We'll
Thanks,
definitely
boys.
pump that and get some people out there, man.
Definitely.
Because just looking at the live chat right now, everybody's excited that you're
Oh,
on.
yeah. You
So,
just sold 40 copies just
man.
now, man, I'll bet you.
And it's so weird to me. It's
I
so
know.
weird. And I appreciate people for that, because I just think I'm just a dude. I'm just a dude, you know? And I appreciate that people are so nice in this town.
All right, man.
And that's what drew me to the Coyote in the first place. So thank
right.
you, gentlemen.
You're welcome.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you.
We've exchanged
I appreciate
numbers.
you.
I'm serious. Keep in touch. I'm interested in what you're doing next, Holmes. Thank you.
All
man.
right. I'll send you some late night awkward texts for sure.
Do it. Let's do it. No pictures, just
What I
text.
do.
Pleasure to meet
It's
you,
what I do. I still got bits. Thanks, Rudy.
All right,
Appreciate you
brother.
guys.
All right,
brother. All right. Rob,
Peace
I'll
out.
call.
Peace out.
Feel like I know the guy.
That was awesome.
Two things that come to mind: the bat when he had to go on there, the bat night when Manu picked the bat up. And Coyote had a hoot with that. He was so good at ad-libbing shit.
And
too.
remember, he came as Batman the next day.
Because
The next- because of
another
Manu.
time later on, the
I
bat
wanna
came back
say,
and he
yeah.
trapped it, and then I wish the Spurs, if y'all really are watching, I wish y'all'd bring back the logo where it spells out Spurs.
I love that.
when he would jump.
I wanted to see. We didn't have enough time. I wanted to know the first time he did that. Did
Just
everybody?
spontaneous.
Did everybody know to yell
Probably.
S? He probably had to jump
So
on it 3
bad.
times.
Maybe, but he got something started that was unique to
That was my favorite
our
part.
town. It was great.
I'm glad you brought that
My
up.
kids loved that dude. All 4 of them. 2 generations of Taylor
I would
kids.
see him at like 1,000 birthday parties. I'm like, how the hell do you get the Coyote to your
Well,
kid's
gee,
birthday
I think-
party?
I think they had a backup for birthday parties.
I
Rob
ain't
had for birthday parties. Rob had a backup, but Rob was at the games because that dude could be a Navy SEAL with his athleticism.
Right.
Seriously, I bet he got hurt too a lot. Probably had to work hurt a lot.
Yeah.
All right, our chat with Rob brought to you by the Ribaldo Realty Group. Man's great. If you are in need of a real estate agent, let me recommend Thunderdome's own Jay Ribaldo with the Ribaldo Realty Group. Works out of the Keller Williams City View office, but he's got his group, and they are kicking butt in this town. This guy knows what he's doing. He was doing something else for a living, realized that he had a talent for real estate, and then went and got all these different certifications and all this kind of thing, and now he's one of the great real estate agents in this city. It is Jay Ribaldo, the official realty man of
I won't
Thunderdome.
say no names, but someone in his office called me yesterday and was like, how'd that happen? I would have came on. What do you guys charge? I'm like, hey, man, we're with Jay right now.
Got you.
We're with Jay
it's
right
the
now.
Ribaldo Realty
We're
Group.
with
Get in
Ribaldo.
line.
We're with Ribaldo, man. We're with Ribaldo, Jay. So, you
Yeah.
guys see, as soon as Jay comes on here, now other realtors are hitting me up like, hey, man, he's in my office.
Get in line.
What can we sit down? I was like, we can sit down if Jay ever leaves, but right now we're with Ribaldo.
I like how you put pressure on Jay, too,
Yeah.
to keep re-upping.
I do this shit.
Thanks to Rob. That was bad.
But that's a true story. I went way better
was
than I
awesome.
thought. Because I just looking at the chat during the interview, I guess he's right. Like as far as like impact,
Yeah.
because the chat shows the impact. People,
Sure.
everybody in the chat had a moment they remembered from the Coyote. But he threw me off with the 05 title. But 05 was a good one because I mean, Game 5, Robert Horry shot. Game 6. Rasheed Wallace comes out and says, yeah, y'all got to because remember, it leaked that the parade was going to be like 2 days after Game 6. Rasheed Wallace is like, reschedule that parade, mother, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then Game 7 comes down to, the last, couple of minutes. So 05 was special, but I just thought it would be 14.
Both teams play hard.
I think
Yeah, exactly.
it just there really was pressure on that dude. You're the only mascot we got. Entertain 18,000 and do it for Game 7. Keep
Right.
the crowd hyped. Help the game's going to keep them hyped, but Your job's to keep them hyped all night for Game 7, and then every voice matters. And if there's a lull or whatever, maybe there's a run by Detroit, and you're, oh my God, we're freaking out. It's up to the Coyote to go out there. All right, get him back in the game with a funny bit.
Right.
That dude had an important job. And the guy that does it now has an important job. Shout out. Rob Wicall. Buy that book, man. It's an interesting read. It's an easy read. I mean, I read it in a day and a half.
Right.
It's just a fun read. Once you get going, you can't stop. All right, that's it. We're done. Love y'all hard. We'll see you back in here tomorrow on In the Building.
Yes, sir.
This program was made possible by contributions from viewers and listeners like you. Thank you.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.